Welcome to The Writer's Dream, a show where authors can talk about their books, what motivated them to write the books. They also talk about their wonderful journeys through publishing the books and the challenging marketing of their books. The authors that we speak to are chosen because they've successfully published a book and they are actively marketing. There is a new feature to the show where I have asked folks to put questions on Facebook about the writing process, publishing, marketing, any kind of questions that they would have if they wanted to write a book or they have written a book and they need help. The question that I get most often is, I have this wonderful idea, what do I do with it? How do I get it into a book? The people who ask that question usually are not professional writers, and so, because if they were professional writers, they probably would have taken the idea and put it in story form. So my suggestion to them is to write down whatever notes, ideas they have, and then to Google a free writing course. Do not spend a lot of money initially because you may find that when it comes down to really writing, you may not want to do that. But if you sign up for a free writing course, you get a lot of help, and if it's really in you to get that idea out there, you'll find it in that writing course. Today's guest is Diane Baumann. Diane is the president and CEO of Kids Entertainment Incorporated. Hi, Diane. How are you?
Hi, Linda. I'm fine, thank you. And thank you for having me on The Writer's Dream.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. Now, can you tell us about Kids Entertainment Incorporated?
Yes, actually, I am the creator of that company. And what I've done was I've been writing children's picture books, but they're all inspired by a song. So first they start with a song. Actually, I write the poem, and then I turn it into a fully produced song. And then from there, I have developed it into children's picture books and have developed intellectual properties and related products from the book.
That to me is a most amazing idea. I am musically challenged myself. So if you ask me to even kind of tap out a rhythm, I have a hard time with it. So for a person to be able to, first of all, write a poem, which includes meter, and then convert it into music, to me, this is like a miracle. Do you have one of your books with you that you can show us?
Yes, actually, I brought my Show Dog book with me, which is my first book that I wrote. When I started with the song, Show Dog, my friend is a filmmaker. She makes documentaries, and she asked me to write the theme song for the film. She was following breeders around and the handlers, behind the scenes type of thing. Mm-hmm. And she was going to use Ethel Merman's song, that another opening, another show. But she said, oh, Diane, why don't you try writing me a song? And so I came up with Show Dog. And it just received so much praise that I had decided to turn this into a children's picture book, but not just any type of a picture book. What I wanted it to be, I wanted it to be educational. So what I did was I included a fact on each breed that's illustrated. And the song itself, I attached to the back cover of the book. So this way, what happens is that when you take the CD out and you can pop it into a CD player, you sing along. The words in the book are actually the lyrics to the song. So you can sing along with the lyrics and follow along and learn at the same time, since it's a little bit educational. Now, for the beginning musician, I also included a very easy to read piano, guitar, vocal lead sheet. So this is for a beginner. And I think this is just a wonderful concept, because what I wanted to do was create something that was unique, that was educational, that was interactive and musical, and I wanted to bundle it up in some type of a clever package so that you would have it all in one adventure.
Well, having spent my life in the field of education, this is wonderful because I can see music teachers in elementary schools just finding this a wonderful way to not only teach music and have kids singing, but also to teach them facts. You're teaching them all about various breeds of dogs.
Exactly.
And what have you done in the other books? I know you have 4 books. Have you done the same kind of, what kinds of subjects are they about?
Well, pretty much the same. Since I did Show Dog, I had to do Show Cat. So I pretty much followed the same thing. I wrote first comes the song, then comes the picture book, and then I packaged it in this package here with a companion coloring book.
Oh, show us that.
Let me show you this. This comes with a companion coloring book, with, of course, non-toxic crayons. And it's the exact same pictures as the Show Dog book. except of course it's in black and white. The fact on each breed is still included, but this book does not, obviously, it doesn't have the CD, but also it doesn't have the sheet music. And I left it a little blank. It just kind of gets the children into drawing their own, learning the different colors, what they look like, that type of thing. And this is very good because, you know, the children today don't read very much. You know, they're more in front of the television or they're more with the handheld devices. And this is a really, really nice thing to do for the children. You know, you can carry this. The way I packaged this was I put it in a little carrying case. So you can bundle this up and just take it with you anywhere you want to go. So let's say you're on vacation, or let's say you're anywhere, going to a friend's house, you need to keep the children occupied. This is a nice little way to do that. Now also, I took 12 pictures from the book, and I made a companion puzzle.
Oh, that's so nice.
So this is another way also to keep yourself, this is another way that I market it. You know, it's great, you have the book, now what do you do?
Exactly.
How are you going to sell this?
Yes, marketing campaigns are probably some of the most challenging parts of promoting your books. When you go into a bookstore and you go into the children's section of the bookstore, this is what you see now. You just don't see children's books. You see children's books with dolls. You see them with stuffed animals. You see them with games. You see them, and now I am sure with the Kindle and the Nook, you're going to see people putting out a book, and they're going to be able to put some kind of interactive game on the Kindle and the Nook with the book.
That's right.
Which is another marketing technique.
That's right. I developed Show Dog into an EPUB already. It's already on Barnes & Noble. It's already in Google Books. It's already in Amazon. As a matter of fact, when Show Dog hit Amazon, it hit at number 6. So it did very well.
Wow.
Now, this could be for a boy or a girl. But for the girls, what I did was I also designed these little handbag muffs. So it has adjustable straps. It could go around your neck like this and keeps your hand warm, like when you're in places like this. So you're a little nervous, you don't want people to see your fingers. But also it has a zipper compartment for the children's precious valuables. I need both my hands. So this is a muff. It's a nice little accessory. And what I do in order to market, I either use this golden dog or I use the black poodle that you have. I let the customer pick the third piece. So this way it just gives me more options and it gives the consumer more options. Every one of my picture book sets does come with the coloring book. Well, the Show Dog and the Show Cat come with the coloring book. They come with the picture book with CD and sheet music, and you get a choice of any one of my animals. Of course, I have more than this, but I only brought the dog set with me today. So there you go. And this is my Show Dog. This also, by the way, Show Dog won the best song in the USA from the Songwriters Guild of America, which is the oldest and most prestigious songwriting organization in our country.
Well, that's an interesting fact, because usually when you're promoting a book, this is what you want to talk about. You want to talk about the quality of your product. How do you promote this idea that you've won this award? Do you put it in the book?
It's in the book.
Website? How do you do that?
Well, I use every.
How do you maximize that?
Every format, every medium that we have available, I do. I do Twitter. I do Facebook. I have public relations. I send out press releases. I do author signings. I do everything that I can think of. I do events. Sometimes I take tables. Like, for example, we had the famous Westminster Kennel Club show at Madison Square Garden this year. Every year I take a table because this is Show Dogs and they're Show Dogs. So what I try to do is I have to match. I have to find my target consumer, and that would be the parent, the grandparent, aunt or uncle. They have to want to buy a gift for a child, since this particular set is ages 3 to 8. So that I have my target, and I have to try to find that niche audience where I can sell it to. And so Westminster, while a lot of the people, they don't have children because their dogs are their children, a lot of them absolutely love this idea, and I do very, very well.
Yeah, I would imagine that you would. I can see this little package if I had a grandchild or even a child. Too old for that, but taking this to restaurants?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I notice that a lot of restaurants now hand their kids crayons as soon as they
Yes.
come in to keep them busy.
Yes, and
Because-
paper. Yeah,
yeah.
some of the restaurants even put that white paper out and say draw. Either eat or draw.
Yeah.
You know, to try to keep them quiet. But, you know, the wonderful thing about this is that it's educational, it's interactive, it's musicals. There's so many components, there's so many features in this one set, and I price it to sell. You know, I sell these sets.
What does something like this go for?
The entire set I only sell for $29.95.
Wow.
So it's a wonderful, it's priced to sell.
Yeah,
and you know what?
absolutely.
A book is a wonderful gift to give a child for any reason at any time.
I absolutely agree with you. I am being in the business myself. You know, as far as I'm concerned, a book is the best gift. Tell me about your music background.
My music background. Well, I've started singing since I'm 5 years old. I played the accordion when I was 5. I played the guitar. I played the piano. And I played the viola in school. But I started my vocal training, professional vocal training, when I think I was about 14 years old. My background was classical musical theater, that type. And I still sing today. All the music that you see in here, I write. I also perform it. So it's a fully produced song. Now, it's not really something that you would find on the radio because it's not pop. Like, for example, Show Dog is written in the genre of maybe something the Andrews Sisters might have sang from the 1940s. It's that kind of thing. But I write
Swing.
different types. Swing. Okay.
I'm old enough.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was something like that. So, but it's a very catchy tune. And so I'm able to write, and then I take it into the studio, we produce the song. And you know what? The CDs, nowadays, it's not enough anymore. So my newest book that I'm writing that is finished, I'm animating the...
Tell me how you take something like this and animate it.
There
What's
are
the process?
Well, there are numerous programs that you can use. First, you have the picture, and then you put it through, like, for example, After Effects. And it's one of the Photoshop programs. And what you do is you take your music in MP3 or MP4 format, depends on what format you're using. And what you have to do is you have to load them both up into the computer and basically, this is, of course, very simple. You line them up. So as my music is going, my illustration is on the screen for maybe 4 to 5 seconds. My next line, my next illustration. And you can follow along. So now, instead of including a CD in my book, I'm going to be including the DVD.
So it has sound and animation.
Sound and animation, yes.
See, to me, this is the challenging part of marketing now. If you have any kind of a book to market, especially children's books or young people's books, you have to really learn about this because that's your competition, and there's so many aspects to it now. My own books are for teens and young adults, but I'm still thinking in terms of what should I do with this to put a product with it. And I'm adult books, not so much, of course, but yeah, this is a very challenging industry.
And it's competitive.
Very competitive. So where are you marketing the books now?
Okay, well, right now I signed a contract with the new military shopping channel.com, which was created by Kevin Harrington of NBC's Shark Tank. So I'm in their portal right now. Now that's closed. It's only for the military. You have to have a military ID to get in it because obviously for secrecy it goes to all the bases around the world. So I'm with them. While I was at Westminster Kennel Club, I happened to meet up with the owner-producer of the Animal Shopping Club Network, which I've signed a contract with them.
That's perfect.
And also I've just signed a license agreement with a company in the Midwest that is doing an audio-visual program, like something that was many years ago called Story Cub, where they have a professional reader come in. And it's a classroom setup situation. So I have many things that are in the works, and I'm trying to translate it all into sales.
Of course, yes.
But I think the biggest thing really that the animation, I think, is key to it.
Something, yeah.
Yes.
Especially I could see this on Kindle.
Yes.
I can see, your book actually being shown on Kindle in an animated form.
Yes.
Kindle or Nook. Yeah, I think that's the coming thing too. But let me ask you this question. When you speak about your books, you're very happy and you're very animated. So I'm thinking that you really enjoy what you're doing. What's the best part?
Oh, writing the books, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have someone that helps me with the public relations now and helps me get the press releases out, all that, because, all that takes away from my creativity. I wear all the hats. I can't do everything, so I have to delegate some of the responsibility I have a public relations firm that works with me, and, it relieves me from doing some of the necessary but tedious executive work.
No, I feel exactly the same way. I find that the mindset that you need for marketing is so different from the mindset that you need for
Absolutely.
writing. You go into the zone, you go into your place, and you live with your story until you're done with it.
Right.
And to be interrupted by a phone call to do, I don't know, a fair or to send out a press release or whatever it is that you have to do, which more than likely you haven't been trained for. I know I was never trained in public relations, so for me, I have to learn it all, and then learning it all takes away from that creative flow that you have when you're writing. So yeah, I don't think I've spoken yet to an author who hasn't said to me, the best part is writing.
Oh, the best part is definitely writing. I do know a little bit about the public relations and advertising side because I used to work for the chairman of the board of Gucci Shops Fifth Avenue, and working in the executive office, I worked hand in hand with every single department, in that company. So that's how I learned about the advertising and public relations and how important it is. If you have a fair to go to, if you have to donate some books, do it. Get your face out there. Get your name out there. Get your product out there. Just do it.
And that's, I think, someone who is not a professional writer, who's not been in the industry, you don't realize that. You think that once you've written a book and you have the book, it's, in a published format, that's it.
Oh,
that's
no.
just the beginning.
That's
just the beginning.
You're just at the starting gate.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you tell me how you produced this package? Did you self-publish? What did you do?
I did self-publish this. It was not easy. It was not easy because this isn't my first printing. But with a lot of things, sometimes you have to change things. You have to revise the writing.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you have to just tweak.
That's life.
Keep tweaking it until you get it to where you want it to be. Mm-hmm. So I did self-publish myself because as you know.
You didn't go through a company. You did it all yourself.
Yes.
What's that like?
Oh.
What's the process? Who do you go to see when you do it all yourself?
You have to do your research. There are so many different compartments to it. I had to go to, for example, for the books, I had to go to various book publishing printers.
Printers.
Various printers. For the CD, I had to go to people that do the duplication. For the crayons, I had to go to a company that either made crayons or wholesaled crayons. So, all right, the puzzle, of course, I had to have somebody who did the heavy board printing. For the plush, I had to go to a plush manufacturer. So there's a lot of research involved with it.
Right, but between your idea, and the printing part of it, did you have to go to a graphic designer? Did you design it yourself? Yeah.
Oh, yes, I work with graphic designers. The graphic designer on this book was Jan Perlow, somebody I went to school with, another musician also. I have 2 other books that are also out actively and published. And Michael Kanarak did I Can't Seem to Find My Tail, which featuring Pansy the Piglet. That book doesn't have so much as an educational feature. That book more sends a social message to the children on the quality of friendship and helping one another out. No matter what walk of life you come from, you can all get along.
Well, that's a big message in children's books today,
yes,
and all manner of programs that they do in schools because of the bullying issue.
Right.
So first you wrote it.
First I wrote it, right.
Then you put it to music.
Yes.
Then you went to a graphic designer to
Yes.
lay out the book.
Yes.
And then you took that to a printer.
Yes.
And then you took the song to, what do they call that person who makes your CD, your music?
The producer.
But yeah, producer, but is it a musical producer?
Yes, I use a musical producer, Voodoo Studios on Long Island. I've been working with Michael
So you go to a
Roth for
studio
long time.
where they, just like this is a studio where they produce a TV show, this would be a studio where they produce a musical piece.
Yes.
And then who gave you the idea of putting the whole package together?
I came up with the ideas. I came up with the different ways, different sizes, different. See, let me give you an example. This particular package, you see how I have it closed with Velcro closing?
Right.
Okay, but you know, if you look at it, and looking at this from a shelf, you are blocking the word show dog. You're blocking the pretty cover. So my Pansy the Pig, my next manufacturing, which I took on, I have to explain. This is all my money that I put into this. So
Yeah, and I think that's important to say.
it's a zipper top. It's no more closing Velcro like this. Now it's zipper all the way around. This way, it doesn't
see
hide
through.
anything. Also, I hate to say this on camera, but there's no way of removing something from the package when it's on the shelf.
Yeah, well, no, that's
you know,
that's a consideration.
It is.
That is a consideration, and of course the way you package this has to do with the fact that you are still marketing. You know, you are still, when you go to a show and people come to your table, you want them to see through the package, and so that's really.
Well, I have displays. I have lights. I've got the bells. I've got the whistles. You know.
Now, what have you gone to schools and
Yes.
you know, talk to the music teachers?
Yes, I read at schools, and this is in the library, a couple of different libraries around Nassau County. You know, they all have ISBN numbers.
Okay.
And I'm thinking of doing a larger program now with the schools because I have so many different books now and different types of media that's included in the book. The project that I'm working on is now is going to be, without giving away any too much detail, is going to be a 3D project.
Oh boy. I'm glad I saved my 3D glasses from the last movie I saw. So let's go back to the money issue. There's two ways of doing this, obviously. You have to find somebody who's going to back you.
That's one way.
And they provide the money. They make the investment into the project, and then you have to give them back from sales.
Correct.
Or you front it yourself.
That's what I did.
And I did that too. I did that. My entire project is, you know, is supported by me. And there's always that controversy of, should I get an agent? Should I get a traditional publisher? And I have to say that the state of the industry right now is a lot of the traditional publishers do not want to take on a project that requires so much in the way of production costs because they don't know where they're going.
Right.
So we're left to promoting our stuff. What would you say was the most challenging part of doing this? I mean, to me, I look at this and I say the whole thing was challenging, but you really have a lot of talent and good instincts. But what was the most challenging or most difficult part of this project?
The manufacturing was the most difficult. Writing is easy.
Oh, yeah.
Writing, because as you know, once you're in the zone, you're in the zone.
Yeah, and it's good. But you would say having to, you said do a lot of research, so it was finding the right company, worrying about if they were going to be honest with you.
Well,
I have heard
what you do,
stories.
well, you have to, of course, you have to use a reputable company, but you know, when you're spending a lot of money, and if you're spending a lot of money, you might want to do your purchasing in escrow. You want to do a bank-to-bank transaction. So there are ways of protecting your money.
Did you get a lawyer?
Did I get a lawyer? No, I didn't, because I worked for attorneys for most of my life, so I knew how to file the copyrights.
Okay.
When I write the poem, I file a copyright. When I turn it into the song, I file a copyright. When I turn it into the book, I file a copyright. When I designed, I designed all of these, I filed a design copyright. I did a trademark for my logo. I knew how to do that. That much I could do on my own.
But what about
now, for the contracts,
with
for
the
example, for the military shopping channel, absolutely, my lawyers, the Barrisons in New York City, negotiated the contracts for me. I would never do that myself.
So anyone who's embarking on a project like that, you would suggest to them legal advice?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I would think so.
Oh, sure. Don't be your own lawyer. Don't do that, because that's not a good idea.
Because even when the advice that I give to people who ask me that question that I had in the beginning of the show of how do I get started, one of the things that we say to them is read the contract. Don't, Read everything.
Yeah, but I
read
think
everything.
even if you read it, I think you really, if you're going to do a contract, really hire a lawyer, hire an entertainment attorney or somebody who's familiar with that type of thing. Copyrights are simple. They're short forms that you can file
Well, you can do that over the
yourself.
net. I mean,
Exactly.
it's very easy,
But when you
$35.
come down to doing the contracts, don't be your own lawyer. You're really better off having somebody review it. Maybe you can find somebody pro bono, because I do know it is expensive. There are ways maybe that you can find that. Maybe the Small Business Development might be able to forward you some money to help you manufacture. Don't go into debt. Do not leverage your house. Do not max out your charge cards. I did not do that because I know when to stop.
Yeah, well, I'm the same. There's a certain amount of money that I'll put into this, and then I
You have
say,
to be
enough,
wise also.
enough. Do you do non-for-profit? Not-for-profit?
My company is not a non-for-profit.
But
However,
I mean, do you do any, like...
absolutely. Charity is so important. Paying it forward is so important. Just recently, I sent a number of books down to Haiti for the children down there.
Oh, that's a wonderful story,
Yes, there's a teacher on Long Island that goes down there, Pam O'Brien, every few months, and I give her some things, and it was so heartwarming when she took the pictures and sent it back to me. Now, of course, put it up on Facebook, put it up on Twitter.
Absolutely.
Social media. The mommy bloggers love this.
I think we as writers don't understand how much good we can do, and you need to get out there and do that. I firmly believe in it. I'm trying to do things for Boys and Girls Clubs because I'm like into that self-publishing thing. I have a last question for you. One of our guests, and actually you know this guest, has said that it's wonderful, you have the idea, you write it, you go out there and you do all the things that you did, and you get a package together, and then you try to market it, and even with all the marketing things that you do, you need to be anointed, is the word he uses, and I think of like Darth Vader or something like that. Who is your anointer? Who do you think your anointer might be if you don't feel anointed at this point?
I think at this point, my anointer would be somebody that might be on the level of maybe DreamWorks, something a Disney-esque type of company.
Yeah, I see that too.
Yeah, I think that's the way that this would go because this is for children ages 3 to 8. So that's the realm, I think, the arena.
Well, Diane, good luck.
Thank you, Linda.
And thank you for being on the program.
For having me.
This was wonderful.